here for another episode of the Thought Leader Thursday, and I cannot wait because we have the amazing, the talented, the very enthusiastic, magnetic leader herself, MARLI WILLIAMS, is in the house, and I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about her and give you just some little nuggets because I want you to be able to listen in at the amazing ways that she is changing the landscape of what it means to be a leader in the world, and you all know that's where I land. I'm all about developing leaders, so it's good to talk to someone else who's in that same mindset. So welcome, MARLI. Let me tell everybody how amazing you are. So listen to this, okay? Her bio, her accomplishments, they're off the chain. She is a master facilitator. She is a leadership trainer. She's a confidence catalyst. We all need more of that. A joy instigator, an engagement strategist who first fell in love with transformational leadership as a camp counselor. And I know she's going to talk to us about a camping experience, maybe I'm going to ask her to, for adults. You don't have to leave it behind in your kid and youth days. 2 degrees and 15 years of training facilitation later, this girl knows her stuff. She decided to give herself permission to be a professional camp counselor because that's what she was born to be. And now she helps incredible people like you and organizations that you serve stop waiting for permission. Start taking bold actions, to be a change maker, to be a leader rising up in the world, to be all that you've always wanted to be. And not only that, which is enough, she also speaks on huge, massive, big stages. She is always booking gigs because she is an incredible facilitator, but also an incredible keynoter. And when she's not doing that and coaching visionary thought leaders, running powerful masterminds, you know what she does? She runs her annual women's summer camp. So if you've always wanted to go to camp, we're going to ask her about it, and you can learn more about Camp Yes today. MARLI, oh my gosh, thank you for spending some time with us today. How are you?
Wow. Thank you for having me. That was like the best introduction ever. I'm so stoked to be here and hang out with you. Oh, this is awesome. This is so fun.
Thank you. Thank you. Your energy is just so infectious. And when we met a couple of months ago, it was very clear to me that from across the screen, because it was at a virtual event, I am always just drawn to you. You just occupy space with such, well, you use the word magnet, right? Like you are a magnet leader yourself, and I know you're going to talk about that in a minute, but you just draw people to you, which tells me that you really do love what you're doing. So tell me right now a little bit about what's inspiring you in the kind of leader landscape work you're doing.
Beautiful question. I think so much, just like exactly what you said, being magnetic is like when you walk into the room and people notice you.
Yes.
Right? So much of, especially in the entrepreneurial leadership landscape, I feel like there's this like, here I am, like over here. And like people like kind of this like hunger to get people's attention.
Right.
And so what if I told you that I could help you go from the here I am land to there she is?
Oh, so good.
Right?
Yeah.
This idea of like people actually leaning in and hanging on to every word you say. And how do we do that? I mean, it's one thing to do that in person, but how do we reach across the screen into people's offices, living rooms, wherever they are, and actually have them feel that resonance, feel that connection, feel that level of presence and engagement, and not just feel like they're being talked to or talked at, but they're being like, they're in this conversation with you. And this whole way of being is like, how do I show up and be authentic and be, one of my favorite words is vulnerageous. Like
I love that.
The courage to be vulnerable, like to be real. And I think that we're craving that level of authenticity and rawness and realness. And in a way, it's like a fun thing that gets to happen on Zoom. Like there's kiddos or puppies or like things happening that are real. That's our real life. And so leadership isn't about being perfect, but it's really permission to turn up the volume on who you are. And this idea of being like fully expressed and sharing your passion, and which is something that you are so good at, right?
Oh, thanks.
Not holding back and not trying to like, oh, I have to put on this front and here's what it looks like, versus I just get to be fully me.
Right. Right. You know, one of the it strikes me in what you're talking about is, people want to be seen, noticed, and valued.
Mm,
And those, and I know you do a lot of work in that space for people and claiming that for themselves, but then how to reflect that back to others. And I love the word flossom. So it's
yes,
right,
I
because
love it.
let's face it, like I'm sure I have a hair somewhere. I've got wild dogs in the background, everything might glitch out. And I'm like, I'm Flossom. I'm showing up in
Totally.
my realness, which I love that you talked about that. And yet I still am just going to be who I am because it doesn't do anybody any good if
Yeah,
I'm not that. Right.
exactly.
So what are you seeing among your clients? I know that you
Mm,
really help facilitate amazing environmental space for people to do
mm,
retreat, to do this deep work.
yeah,
And so what are some trends that you're seeing as you're making that happen?
yeah. I mean, I think that one of the biggest things that I do with my clients is help them get out of their own way. Right? Like we are so, and I think like what I help them and how I help them do that is hold up the mirror for them to see
Mm.
how flawsome they are. You
Yay!
know? It's like because we can be just so hard on ourselves and that inner critic versus helping them cultivate this inner mentor
Right.
and being that mirror for them to see what is possible for themselves. And when I say get out of their own way, it's really understanding what are the stories, the
Mm.
limiting beliefs and the thoughts that are stopping you, and what are the ones that are serving you,
Oh,
and which one are you feeding? It's like, who the heck am I to be a leader or to be a speaker or to share my
right.
message versus who the heck am I not to? And
Mm.
like the world needs this.
Right.
And so how can we be aware of like what are all of the blocks and barriers and things that are in the way, unpack that, uncover it, and then create a new path and a new story and say like, here's where we're going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the biggest things is not just creating goals where it's like I have to push and grind it out and work harder and harder and harder, but it's really about creating a vision that pulls you forward.
Mm.
So it's the
Yeah.
difference between like I have to push myself to do all of these things versus like this is where I'm going. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to be on Ellen. Okay, like what's the next step in that direction? Or
Right.
I'm going to create this talk or this program or lead this team and create a vision compelling enough that you just take that next first step.
Yeah. Well, and
And
I
yeah,
love that next first step because, I go to things, I know you do too. I follow people, I know you do too. And sometimes what they're advocating for, while extremely important and valuable and helpful, sometimes it's not helpful in the fact that it seems this big,
yeah,
right? And I think you hit the nail on the head when you're talking about the overwhelm that we're feeling.
yeah,
And so sometimes it's what's the one thing I can do, right? What's that step?
yeah,
And uncovering that for people is some of the magic that I know that you do in the world.
exactly, exactly.
Speaking of cool work, I am so into this like camp thing. So for adults, because I was the kid who went to camp every summer. Went to church camp. Then I was a church camp counselor. I've met some of my lifelong friends in a
Mm,
camping
mm,
environment. I always think getting away and getting out and doing that deep internal work is so crucial.
yeah.
Talk to me about this amazing opportunity that you're providing for women.
Yeah. So one of my annual event is called Camp Yes, and it
I
is
love the
an
name.
adult summer camp for women entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers. So,
Wow.
and it's really 4 days of play and
Oh,
connecting to yourself and your purpose and your passion and your potential and all of the things that are possible through the lens of play. Because so
ah.
often we take ourselves so seriously.
Hmm.
Like, I need to find my purpose. Like, where did it go? And like, we,
Yeah.
and it can feel heavy and hard.
Yes.
And I remember at camp one year, we were going like down this 300-foot slip and slide, like laughing so hard we were crying. It was amazing. And I remember one of the campers came up to me and she said, I never knew how healing play could be.
Oh, yeah.
And it just touched me because it's like we think that this deep work has to feel very hard and heavy. And actually, there's a lot of vulnerability in joy.
Oh,
Like, how
yeah.
much fun can you allow yourself to have? How much joy can you allow yourself to experience? And so it's just an invitation. It's a total digital detox. So no phones, no computers, no
Amazing.
technology, 4 days in the woods, reconnecting to yourself, connecting with other amazing women. And I always say at the beginning of the weekend, it's very much like a choose your own adventure.
Oh, I loved those books.
You have permission for the next 4 days to say yes to you.
I love it.
And maybe that's laying in a hammock for 4 days and reading a book, or that's going to every play shop or meeting every single person here. Or maybe it's making 2 new best friends. Like,
Right.
what do you need to walk away with? What did you come here for? And helping people like just take them on that journey over, and it's been so epic and transformational, and I love it. So it happens every September. It's Labor Day weekend coming up this September. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna figure it out. I think that we are hungry more than ever to have spaces and places where we can come together. And the cool thing is it's all outside in the beautiful Pacific Northwest here outside of Portland, Oregon.
I love that. And I love the image that you're giving is that you are the guide. You know, it's like it's not you're the person with all the answers. You're not the yes person, but you are allowing people opportunities to say yes, which is a really, I think, I was just reading an article today about self-care in women and how we associate self-care with things like a Target run without a child tugging on us and things like that. And that's not self-care, because we're still thinking about the things we got to get and whatever. And what you're doing is allowing people to kind of create what is needed in the moment so they can take it home and hopefully continue it, right?
Exactly. And giving yourself permission to hit the pause button and to step away and reset and reconnect, recharge.
I think it's so needed. And I can imagine for entrepreneurs like ourselves, you know, it's go, go, go. You know, I don't ever really take a day off. I have to force myself to go another country, usually where my phone doesn't work. That's what a day off means for me, right? That's not feasible. So to take that space and have the digital detox, I just want to applaud you for the work that you're doing to enable women to rise up and lead out of their very best selves. So it's desperately needed. So I think that's what makes you an amazing thought leader, Marli. So
thank you
I'm
so
so
much.
Glad you said yes.
So fun.
Here's the deal. I know everybody listening is going to want to find out more, either about that, about your magnetic leader program, about what it might mean to work alongside you, either maybe hire you to facilitate an event that they're doing, showing up better like this screen to screen. And so what's the best way that we could connect with you?
Got it. Go to my website, which is marliwilliams.com.
Check out the links below.
MARLI Williams.com. And you'll find everything about Camp Yes. You can sign up for a magnetic leader strategy session, whether you're planning your own event or wanting to be more magnetic on video, or wanting to dive even deeper into how you're showing up as a leader for yourself, for your teams, for your companies, for your organizations. And and I do speaking as well. So we can just jam and talk about all sorts of opportunities.
Love it. And I know, as someone who gets to hear Marli often, I have to say, you need to take advantage of that and just have a conversation with her. Just like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm feeling. Here's what I'm trying to birth in the world, because she's going to really help you uncover some of those possibilities for you. She's mentioned that several times, that one of her geniuses in the world is helping you see what is in front of you and a step to take to make that happen. So I definitely want you to take advantage of that and get to know Marli, because she is stunning if you haven't already figured that out. Marli, again, thank you so much for giving us just a few minutes of your precious time. It really means a lot to me that you said yes to my invitation. And everyone, again, the link is right now. Check the fingers right there. You can see it across the screen. Go visit Marli right now at marliwilliams.com. And Marli, I will see you soon. Everybody else, we'll see you on the next Thought Leader Thursday. Take care.